some action on the screen. We've got the Shadow Rider Calyrex deck on the left against the, it looks like ADP Moltres perhaps on the right. Now, the goal of ADP is to end the game as quickly as possible by gussing up opponents' Pokemon such as Dedenne GX and Crobat V. And then knocking out like two of those very easily after using Altered Creation GX from ADP. You're able to go ahead and just win the game there and take two additional prizes off those two KOs for a total of 6 to end the game. And that is what it looks like the player on the right does have going on. They're looking through their deck, trying to see if they are ADP or if they are some other kind of Zacian deck. Now, it does look like they are indeed ADP. My assumption was initially correct. Player is currently doing a search through their deck, I think, for Quick Ball. Either Quick Ball or Viridian Forest. This is quite the interesting search. We see the Aegis/V in the deck there. That is usually to go against things like Decidueye that would normally stop your rule box Pokemon from being able to deal damage. Or in Decidueye's case specifically, I believe GXs and Vs. So the Viridian Forest is going to discard the Galarian Zapdos V to go ahead and add a Metal Energy from the deck to the hand. Going to get a good shuffle in there. That Metal goes to the hand, opting to not cut. Cherish Ball going to go ahead and go back through the deck here. Going to search the deck for any GX Pokemon. And it looks like we are going to fail to find on that Cherish Ball there. All right, so we're shuffling up. We are going to opt to cut this time, and it looks like we're getting ready to utilize this Dedenne GX soon. So we're going to switch here to switch that Dedenne GX back to the bench. Going to bring up Zacian, who is, of course, floating on that air balloon right now, too, so it has free retreat. Galarian Moltres' ability is going to attach a Dark Energy from the discard pile to itself once per turn, and then Crobat's going to come down, and we're going to draw until we have 6 cards total in our hand. So that Cresselia was able to accelerate energy onto the Mewtwo Mew tag team last turn. So that is what we're staring down going into our next turn here. So what kind of response are we going to take? Looks like we are going to attach the Aurora Energy to Galarian Moltres, discarding a Metal Energy to pay the cost. Now we're going to escape rope. We're actually going to push Cresselia back to the bench. Going to opt to send out the Mewtwo Mew tag team here. Zacian's going to hit the bench, and Moltres is going to come out front. Now, we have already used that ability this turn, so we've already used the ability and attached, so unless we've got like an energy switch, which it looks like we actually just discarded, oh, because that's the Aurora that's on the bench there. Getting a little bit of lag here, but we do draw 6 with Dedenne GX here. So can we get another basic energy into play, and can we get it onto the Moltres? That 190 damage would be very relevant. We do have a Metal Saucer, but I'm not seeing an energy switch.
Can he manually retreat?
He can manually retreat, yes. So we may see a retreat into a Zacian to deal 230 here, but it looks like we may take a look through opponent's discard here. We may just have a pass. Yeah, so it is a pass because we're using Zacian V's Intrepid Sword ability to look at the top 3 cards of our deck, attach any metal energies we find there to Zacian, and then just add the rest to our hand. So rather than pass the turn, we might as well get 3 free cards at the end there. Opponent is going to go ahead and evolve into Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX.
What does that one do again?
Now that one is... it has an attack that does 10 damage plus 30 more for each psychic energy that's in play, but the biggest part of that card is its ability, which states that once during your turn, you can attach a psychic energy from your hand to one of your benched Pokemon and then draw 2 cards.
Okay.
So it just fills out a whole board of them because as you attach free energy, you draw more cards, so then you can just keep going and build more and more of a board. So we are going to see that ability here to attach that psychic energy and draw 2 cards.
Now, was their hand empty?
It looks like it was. So they were able to get into a Marnie here. So going to shuffle that 1 card in their hand and then put it on the bottom of their deck. And it's still shuffling that 1 card. Opponent shuffles their hand, puts it on the bottom of their deck. Opponent's going to get 4 cards. Calyrex player here is going to get 5. All right, and it looks like we are going to see a Pokemon Communication come out, shuffling back Galarian Rapidash V. It's going to let us search our deck for any Pokemon here. Most likely going to get another Calyrex V. Getting a Crobat, so it looks like we are actually going to go digging for more cards here. I wonder what option we're digging for in particular. The Mewtwo Mew can use the attacks of any GX or EX Pokemon that is on his board or in his discard pile. But Crobat is going to come down, so it's going to fill up our last bench slot, and we're going to draw until we have 6 cards in hand. So really digging here. I guess perhaps for a way to get Mewtwo out of the active.
What attacks are live for Mewtwo right now?
I believe for Mewtwo, we have the 2 attacks that are available from Gengar Mimikyu tag team in the corner there. We are going to see an Aurora Energy pitching a Giratina Garchomp tag team, actually. So, and then we are going to see, it looks like we are seeing
the GX attack.
That GX attack, which is going to discard one of the opponent's Pokemon. If that is the attack. Yeah, so we are just going to discard that Galarian Moltres. So there's not prizes being taken. It's not a knockout, but we are going to see that Galarian Moltres just hit the discard pile. So it's an interesting GX attack because while you're not advancing the board state by taking prize cards, you still do get rid of their resources and their guy that they've built up.
I'm going to formally introduce myself while they start their turn. My name's Steven. I'm the owner of Card Trooper Games, and I'm familiar with the game, but not a lot of the new decks. So we're going to learn together here today, and James is going to do a lot of explaining to me while explaining to you guys what's going on. So
excited to have you here. We're going to have a fun day of action, and I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a pretty lively game going now, and interested to see how things break down through as the day goes on. So we are going to see that Viridian Forest pitching another Viridian Forest to search the deck for any basic energy. Going to get a metal energy out of the deck. Presume that's getting attached to a Zacian here, but that's still not going to be enough damage to knock out that Mewtwo and Mew tag team because Mewtwo Mew tag team has 270 hit points and Zacian only hits for 230.
We've not seen any ADP from Brian, right?
We have not not since we hopped into the game at least. Okay. But we the GX marker is still facing up, so we did not miss a GX attack prior to joining the game. We are going to see a Professor's Research discard the hand and draw 7 fresh ones here. We do see another Galarian Moltres that I'm sure is about to hit the board and accelerate in energy. Moltres really being one of the standout cards of Chilling Reign, finding a slot in a lot of decks. A lot of decks now being able to play Galarian Moltres and some amount of dark energy just to facilitate the free attacker as the game goes on. Just build that up on your bench regardless of what else you've got going on. And we are going to see that Brave Blade attack come out and deal 230 damage to Mewtwo and Mew GX, leaving 40 HP.
Now does Shadow Rider with his board state possess an ability to one-shot this Zacian here?
So having used the GX attack, I don't believe that they can. So let's do some math. So we do have an energy on that Cresselia. We've got 2 energy on the Shadow Rider, and we have just used the ability. So let's assume that we can attach an energy card there. We've got 3, 6, 9. 1 on the Cresselia is 12. And then we do have 4 up front, so that is another 12. So we would be doing 250. So if we are able to get an energy card and then a either an air balloon or a switch, just some way to get that Mewtwo out of the front, but without having to retreat it, then we would actually be able to knock out the Zacian. And there is that air balloon to be able to retreat that. So we really are just digging for a single psychic energy at this point. And there's the Guzma-Hala. So Guzma-Hala is going to let us search our deck for a special energy card, and I believe that they are going to pick up an Aurora energy, which would count as the psychic energy needed in place. So there it is. There is the Aurora energy. So it looks like we are going to see a knockout on that Zacian V this turn. Going to go ahead and shuffle there, adding the Aurora. And it looks like they may have gotten a path to the peak.
To knock out that Viridian Forest, is that the goal there?
Yeah, I believe so. It may have just also been the only option as far as a stadium goes for them to get off of Guzma-Hala. But yeah, there is that psychic energy on that Cresselia going to be important here. We're going to use that Viridian Forest. That is also just going to go ahead and give us a psychic energy, of course. All right. Psychic to hand. We're going to manually attach that to Shadow Rider Calyrex. We're going to go ahead and retreat. And then that Shadow Rider Calyrex is going to go ahead and blow up Zacian V, but not until after that Path to the Peak comes down, shutting off the abilities of Pokemon V and GX.
That looks like a very big turn for Shadow Rider.
It definitely is a very big swingy turn here. We already did have the momentum going into the turn, especially followed by not a KO going into that Mewtwo and Mew. So we just had that momentum. We really have just continued it. We're going to take out that Zacian. We're going to lock that stadium in, force them to have some type of answer to that. This Galarian Moltres, however, the thing is, if we are able to knock that Path to the Peak out of there, then we're able to attach an energy with Moltres' ability, attach for turn, and then Moltres is going to one-shot that Shadow Rider Calyrex because it is weak to Dark, and Moltres does 190 damage. So while we definitely still very much have the momentum, that's also the only Shadow Rider in play, so we don't have access to another one of those big attacks because we did fill up that bench earlier with that Crobat V when we were digging for cards. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what path we see them go down this turn, because we've got to get that Path to the Peak out of there so that Moltres can use its ability. So we are just going to go with a research. So no attach or anything. We're just a straight up research. So
he had another research in his hand as well. He discarded.
Just discard and draw 7 here. See what our hand looks like.
It looks like his deck's not that. There's not much left there either. So
I'm not seeing a stadium card. It looks like we may, unfortunately,
not have what it takes.
To do much of anything this turn. I'm seeing a Boss's Orders and a Marnie, which we just literally cannot play. An ADP that doesn't do anything. I think the other GX that I see in his hand is a full art Mawile GX, which, while powerful, doesn't really do anything now, and actually doesn't do anything while his opponent has a full bench. We see a few energy cards, but no stadium, no additional way to draw cards.
Can you remind me what Mawile GX does?
Sure. So Mawile GX takes a look at your opponent's hand, and then you can put as many basic Pokemon from their hand that you find there onto their bench. So you can force things like Dedenne into play.
Okay.
But with his opponent having a full bench, all he was able to do there was just attach to the Moltres and then retreat.
It looks like Brian's just sent up his biggest basic there, right, in hopes to not, it not die here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looks like he's just going ahead and setting that up to try and survive the turn, even though things just do not look good. Because we're going to get to see another gigantic attack from Shadow Rider, potentially even knocking out. All right, so we are seeing a Pokemon communication here, going ahead and adding Galarian Rapidash V to their hand. Fog Crystal, that's another one of the big releases out of Chilling Reign. It's an item card that lets you search your deck for any Psychic basic Pokemon or a Psychic energy card.
Okay.
So just the ability that it's able to go either way there to facilitate whatever you need for the turn, be it an attachment or the Pokemon in your deck plays. And it looks like we were not able to get enough damage into play here.
Brian at least has a chance now going into his turn to try to gain some momentum back here to knock this out.
Yeah, we're going to see if we're going to be able to do anything, but it's all going to, not only do we still need a stadium card, but we need to find a way to get ADP out of the active.
And it looks like Marnie looks to be his only supporter.
Yep.
And Boss's orders in his hand, which doesn't
help. Yeah, Boss's orders doesn't help anything because we have to find a way to get that ADP out of the front now. That's our primary concern, which... given all of our other concerns, it's a scary primary concern to have at this point of the game because it looks like we're just going to have to Marnie and then hope because the only realistic way that I see this working out is, and potentially you're going to want to bench either, if that is Mawile there, having trouble seeing it there in the middle, or this Aegislash, just so you have something to Metal Saucer onto. It does look like I was correct. It is a full art Mawile, and it looks like they are debating utilizing that Mawile there. I think it's important just to have something in play that can utilize Metal Saucer to accelerate energy because there's not going to be a whole lot of other ways to do anything this turn. But we're going to see a Marnie here. Going to go ahead and draw to 5.
There's a Viridian Force.
Yep, I do see that Viridian Force, so that is going to be big here. Is it going to be big enough? And I don't
see a way for him to get out of
that
the active,
ADP still looks like it's going to be up front, and ADP's not particularly healthy at the moment, given that it only has 30 hit points remaining, so... I am going to be interested to see what path we take here. Looks like we are debating this tool scrap or just take away the only tools that are in play. Popping that air balloon, both of them. And then it looks like just a straight up pass. So we're going to go ahead and draw for turn.
Now, why in that situation would he not Viridian Force to try to grab an energy, or does he not have any left?
So I think the idea there is just to make sure that he's not path to the peak going into the next turn. I do think that the context of his hand makes it to where I don't really think there's a whole lot of anything that he can do.
Is there an option to attach the Aurora Energy to the Moltres there to give it a chance to attack next turn? Or
I
no?
do think so, but the problem is that now you're in a situation where you're going into your turn.
Yeah.
Like your opponent's going to be at one prize. So even if you are able to knock out with the Galarian Moltres at this point, Galarian Moltres' attack does 30 damage to itself.
Okay.
So then you're looking at just that Mewtwo Mew being able to come up and then clean up that Moltres, since we only have the one prize left at that point. Now the realistic thing is that I probably attach the Aurora Energy there just because why not?
Do you think there's an option there for the Mewtwo and the Mew to bring that up with boss's orders to knock that out, to take some of the energy off the board so Calyrex isn't as strong to hit it back? Or do you think that they're able to amass more energy quick enough to make it not matter?
I think that they'd be able to just stick things around, and it does look like we are going to see that Moltres be promoted. We see Aegislash come back up, and that's just another brick there. So it looks like we've seen all of these cards. We're at that point of the game where you're drawing the cards that you're putting on the bottom with Marnie. And I just unfortunately don't see a way out from this position. Even if you're able to get a KO on that Calyrex this turn, that Mewtwo Mew's just going to finish you off.
And he didn't Marnie any more energy away either, other than the Aurora.
We do see a last-ditch boss's orders to bring up the Gengar Mimikyu, just try and stick it up front, and then a Metal Energy, and it looks like we're passing the turn. And we do get a draw. Believe that I saw...
We've seen a switch.
Yeah,
here.
some way to get anything that moves it out. I think I saw an escape rope.
Okay. And that'll just copy any attack here, really, to close this out.
Yeah, I mean, the Calyrex just doing 30 damage for each Psychic Energy that's in play. It's currently doing, I believe, 250 damage. So it would knock out any of the 3 Pokemon that are in play on the other side of the field.
Oh, is this a tag call?
This is a tag call. Okay. The deck is awful small, and it looks like we just failed to find there. We do see an attach up front, so it looks like we may not have any way out beyond like just actually retreating, and so we do see just an actual pass here.
Another Viridian Force.
Could this somehow create an opening? I'm still not sure. I don't believe that there's any energy cards left in the deck. Because you'd be able to, like, Viridian Forest, discard something, get a Dark Energy, attach a Dark Energy with Moltres' ability, and then either KO the active, take 3.
We are going to see.
Yeah, there's the Viridian Forest. Part of the problem with playing that, too, is... your opponent only needs 1 energy to be able to retreat this Gengar next turn anyway. So playing the Viridian Forest just gives it to him. But yeah, it looks like we were down to only like 3 cards in the deck. And none of those are basic energy cards. I did see an Aurora Energy there, but nothing that you can get with Viridian. So it honestly, like, not only do we not have anything on our field, but we also don't have anything, like, even if we... had access to every card in our deck right now. There's nothing that we could really do.
This goes to show you how big the turn with the Giratina Garchomp was to take out that Moltres and take the energy off the board. Yep. It really is proving to be a big problem here.
Yeah, even though it wasn't able to take that prize at the time, like just being able to go ahead and accelerate the game state without that Moltres in play, super important. So we are going to see a draw here. I believe we just see it at attach here. Yep, and then a retreat, just good old-fashioned. Retreat the Gengar Mimikyu. We're going to send up Mew and Mewtwo GX and finish the game off. It looks like they're deciding how that happened, and it's with boss's orders on Dedenne, and then utilizing the second attack on Giratina Garchomp to do 160 damage. But let's go ahead and switch back here. And welcome back, everyone. I hope that you guys enjoyed that round. We definitely had a lot of fun. Thanks, Cardinal Gaming, for the shout out there. Hope you all are having a good time in your neck of the woods as well. But yeah, for anyone that is just joining us, welcome to the Trooper Tour. We're having a lot of fun here today. I am James Wames.
I'm Steven. I don't have a nickname.
That is true. Just zero nicknames. But Steven's got the plan, so that's truly what matters at the end of the day. But we hope that you guys are having fun. We're having a lot of fun doing this. We're going to have more information as the day goes. We should have the next round as soon as it's able to get put up. But I'm having a lot of fun. It was a exciting game to be able to look in on. Being able to see interactions like the Giratina Garchomp, that GX attack, it's very cool being able to like discard, just the text discard a Pokemon in play. Really like that's neat. Just very cool.
That's what I love about Mewtwo decks in general is their ability to like utilize all these like GXs and random things that we don't even remember because they came out 2 years ago, and then so you're having to. And I think Brian in that situation had to pick it up to read exactly what it did, and I just think that those decks are really neat. And how powerful that effect was in that situation.
Yep, a lot of one-ofs. Like, whenever you have, like, a bunch of one-of Pokemon, it's just a lot of fun to be able to have all these different options and really craft the game to be how you want it to be played.
It seems like a much more fluid game plan, too, versus a deck like ADP Moltres, where you have a very direct goal, right? Mm-hmm. It's very much what you want ADP, and then get that ball rolling and keep that momentum. And you saw in that game, there's a couple turns, if you pass, there's not really much to recover from. So.
Yeah, we really do just live in a very fast world where you don't have a lot of time to really build anything up. You really have to just go ahead and hit your things, hit them early, hit them like right when you need them, because if you're missing that one key piece here and there, like we saw that turn where they were missing that Viridian Force to be able to counter the Path of the Peak, and that really just put them behind it, that solidified that game, just that nail in the coffin to go ahead and end that there.
And in Calyrex being able to take these turns where you do that, and then you also lay a Path of the Peak down, so it forces them to have these Dedenes and Crobats, and then also have a supporter. Because a lot of the times you'll end your hand with a Crobat or a Dedenne for the next turn. Yep. So going in and your guy gets knocked out and your abilities are now turned off to not be able to recover from that is just so powerful. And that was a really powerful turn to see that too.
Yeah, it really is. And just the fact that Calyrex just being able to have like multiple of those in play at the same time is so insane, and just being able to like just chain draw with all of those energies.
It reminds me of Zoroark GX from a few years ago.
It definitely is a lot like it, except you're also just putting an extra energy into play every time that you trade.
That's a little bit better.
Instead of just discarding it, you just put an energy into play.
It seems better.
And then you just have the attack of the 30, it's 10 plus 30 for each psychic. That adds up very fast.
I'm really excited, and in this game we didn't get to see that. We saw a lot of Dedenes and Crobats and the Gengar on the bench. So I'm hoping as the day goes on with more of these decks, we'll get to see multiple Calyrex turns where you're able to draw like 6 cards and stuff, because that'll bring back some memories for me as well too. So
yeah, I'm very excited. I personally, I really was wanting the Rapid Strike Malamar deck to win today. I'm very much a very big fan of that deck in particular. Not quite sure that we're going to see too much of it floating around the top tables today.
There was a couple people, so maybe we can see.
I'm rooting for them. So, but yeah, I definitely hope you guys are having a good time. We are going to take a little break here in between rounds. We will have the next round coming at you as soon as we get it updated to us. We will update you guys, and we will be commentating and doing this for the rest of the day. So stick around, grab a bite to eat, grab something and be sure to grab a seat at the Trooper Tour Chilling Reign. Visit us at cardtroopergames.com or here in the Old Richmond Mall. So I am going to go ahead and catch you guys here shortly.
See you guys.